Having no time to waste, Lance attacks Worth right away with Graviole. However, Worth escapes into the ground using his mud magic. He comes out creating multiple mud copies of himself, but Lance smashes them with his gravity magic. Lance attempts to attack the whole field, but it has no effect and Worth appears behind him, casting Burst, surrounding Lance's legs, making him unable to move and then attacks him. Worth feels that Lance isn't that bad and invites him to join Magia Lupus lower ranks, where he can flourish. However, if he stays with Trash, like Adler, he will remain trash himself. Lance refuses, stating that from his point of view, Worth is just second-rate. He then uses Graviole, but this time sideways. Worth notes to himself it won't change anything, since he cushions both walls and floors with a muddy environment to absorb shocks. Lance's gravity magic needs him to slam Worth into something solid, and unless Lance figures his trick, he can't do anything against him. In that moment, Lance starts shooting the rubble he made from earlier into the walls, forcing Worth to show up to avoid being hit. Worth is surprised that Lance may have figured his trick and how to deal with him. He reassures himself that he is strong and takes out a potion with concentrated magical essence, extracted from other students. As he drinks it, he explains that the Magia Lupus members are awarded with this essence. His magic power then spikes and Worth uses Medoro's second Mudoro Devilis, and summons a mud demon. Worth explains that magic has tiers: basic magic, personal magic, then more advanced conditional magic. However, second is different from magic used by single-liners, and it's a higher tier magic that only certain double-liners are allowed to cast. Worth reaffirms himself that he is worthy, recalling his past and how he is told that those with aptitude in magic are worthy. Worth tells Lance that he will not achieve such magic, because he hangs out with worthless people. Worth attacks Lance, but he dodges. Lance then states that his friends reminded him of something that is important to him, and that only he is allowed to insult them. Lance then uses Graviole's second torture pull, summoning pillars around Medoro Devilis. As the pillars exert strong gravitational pulls, they start pulling the demon towards them. The demon is being pulled to all directions. Lance then adds another pillar above the demon, which ends up ripping it apart and turning it to mud. Worth can't believe that his strongest magic was defeated and he himself was defeated. He recalls his father telling him that even if he joins the Bureau, he will still be not worthy for his creation, and wonders when will Worth finally show him that he is worth something. Lance gives Worth a book, which he found on the ground and guessed it was Worth's. He asks Worth on what he thinks gives someone worth and explains that his family measured worth by position and social standing. Based on Worth's words and actions, Lance feels they were probably raised similarly. Lance doesn't like how Worth talks or acts, but respects the effort he have put and then leaves. Mash faces Abyss, however using Accelerates. Abyss is too fast for Mash and is able to land several cuts. He tells Mash that he doesn't stand a chance, but Mash doesn't care. Abyss recalls Mash's reason and states that while their situations are similar, he was probably blessed with someone being around him. Abyss takes out a device with Lemon in it and explains it drains magic power. In 30 minutes, Lemon will lose all her magic power. Her mark will disappear and she will lose the ability to use magic forever. Since his friend will be like Mash, Abyss wonders if that makes him happy. However, Mash states that if he serious is saying this, he will beat him up. Abyss decides to take Mash seriously and uses Accelerate Sphere, and starts attacking Mash from various directions, cutting him with each attack, and eventually stabbing him in the stomach. Abyss then realizes he can't pull out his sword, and that Mash is clenching his abdominal muscles to hold the sword. Mash then grabs and headbutts Abyss, breaking his mask. Mash sees Abyss' red eye and wonders if it's bloodshot. Abyss realizes that Mash has no idea what his red eye means and explains it's called Evil Eye, the eye of the devil that temporarily disables the magic of all who fall under its gaze. As magic is everything in this world, Abyss is looked as target of scorn. Mash then feels bad that Abyss can't use his eye on him, but Abyss states it's fine. He explains that he has been feared and despised his whole life, even by his parents, although someone blessed like Mash probably can't understand it, and that there are people in the world that should have never been born. Abyss uses Accelerate's second force field, surrounding them in a force field and adding a red arrow pointing down on Mash. Abyss then attacks Mash, who realizes that he is quite slow. Abyss explains that inside the field, the speed on his opponent is decreased and is given to Abyss, making him faster. Abyss continues to attack Mash, stating it's over. However, even though Mash is slow, he slams the ground, splitting the floor in two and narrowing down Abyss's moving route. Mash then jumps at Abyss and breaks his sword. Mash then steps on Abyss' leg, not allowing him to move and stating that he got him for a second time. Mash then uses full muscle magic, Hurricane Rush, punching Abyss and sending him flying outside his force field. That also breaks the force field, allowing Mash to move normally. Mash then starts beating Abyss, who tries to fight back, but is no match for Mash's speed. Mash defeats Abyss, who afterwards wonders what it would have been if he was born normal. He explains that his eye manifested when he was a child and was locked in a basement cell, so that people don't learn about him. One day, his parents tried to kill him and Abyss came to a realization that he should have never been born. He may have been just a tool, but Abel Walker needed him. However, he failed to meet his expectation and is now back at being unwanted by anyone. Mash states that Abyss is probably right that Mash was blessed and that he can't put himself in his position. Mash is okay with them being friends, but Abyss states it's impossible. As long as he has this eye, even Mash's attitude towards Abyss will change one day. Abyss decides to warn Mash to not proceed, since he won't be able to defeat Abel. Mash thanks him for the warning, but he needs to beat Abel. Mash then states that his mind won't change and no matter what others say, Mash's attitude toward Abyss won't change. Mash then leaves, stating they should eat some cream puffs next time.